one. The word of words between the former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Babachir Lawal, and the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has gotten to a fever pitch, and a fresh chapter seems to have now emerged from the anger about the primaries of the ADC to the capacity of Atiku Abubakar and his ability to be able to deliver if he is elected president. Mr. Babachir Lawal has called him several names. He said Atiku is inept, lacks capacity, is corrupt. Atiku does not fit to be Nigeria's president. Atiku is a disaster if he gets into office. And he called him Kachala. And he says his type and his ilk are not supposed to lead Nigeria. I'm being joined tonight by the Senior Special Assistant to Mr. Atiku Abubakar on Public Communications, Mr. Frank Shaibu, who is live for us here in our studio. Many thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you, Sean. How do you do?
Yeah, the aide to the Kachala. It does look like that name has stuck on your principle.
Funnily enough, illiteracy is a misfortune and should never be taken as a privilege. As far as I'm concerned, you know, Sean, first thing I will tell you is that I would ask you if you have ever seen a baby yanked off her mother's breast while sucking. The moment you yank a baby off a mother's breast while sucking, it will throw tantrums unconsolably. That is the case of Babachir Lawal. He prepared, took monies to deliver a certain candidate. He admitted on television that he had a preferred candidate for the primary election. He took monies.
Do you have evidence that he took money?
Oh my goodness!
See, for me, if you had opportunity to take money,
he will take from Bola Tinubu.
Yes.
So of course, that is to show you again where his allegiance is. You see, funnily enough, you know, you didn't allow me land. But let me tell you something, Sean. I've met Babachir 5 times. And on those 5 occasions, I met him at the dining table of Atiku Abubakar.
Doing what?
Of course, lunch or dinner. We met at the dining. And at most times, you know, when we're growing up, it is only the younger ones who live at the dining table. But each time we left the dining table, we left him behind. So I thought his level of gluttony. Hold on, please.
What does he do afterward?
He keeps eating because there's enough to eat. Because I thought his gluttony was limited to just food. I didn't know it has
no personal attack.
No. With profound respect.
Yeah.
No, you called names here earlier. He called Kachala. He called different names. You didn't stop him. I watched him. Do you understand me? And I previewed him. I will not even degenerate. I will not degenerate to his level. I won't do that. But I would like to let you know that I have met him 5 times at close range, and the 5 occasions were at the dining table of His Excellency. And at those 5 times, I left him there. Every other person left him at the dining.
You met him on this program too, but he was not eating here.
No, you don't. This is not. You don't serve dinner here. You never gave me water since I got here. I've been in the waiting room. So the truth is that See, he elevated what I call that level of, you know, typical maniac that I thought was limited to food, to the level of politics. I tell you, Atiku Abubakar, let me discuss the primary election that held even in the northeast, and zero in on Adamawa, where close associates of the Waziri, he asked them to step down from the race because he needed to satisfy the demands of the man, a man who is a self-acclaimed pastor. He said he's a pastor. You understand me? And in the process, his own cousin, his own biological cousin, emerged as candidate of the party. The former governor of the state, Bindo, was asked to withdraw from the race just because we need Atiku Abubakar is a carefree, go easy man. Then you wake up in the morning or wake up from one side of your bed and you say, oh, this is a man who is a tribal jingoist. This is a man who is anti-Christian, forgetting that this same man was elected governor of Adamawa State just few months before he was nominated, or he was picked to become running mate to President Olusegun Obasanjo.
He said Atiku rigged that election.
I beg your pardon. So he just woke us.
He said Atiku never won any election.
No, I beg your pardon, Sheung. Atiku has run more than 2-3 election cycles in this country. And I tell you for free that if Atiku Abubakar rigged that election, governorship election in Adamawa State at that time, the Election Petitions Tribunal would have done justice to that case. He did not just win the election, he left the seat. After he was nominated, he became vice president. In fact, Atiku supported Boni Haruna, a Christian minority, in Adamawa, against all odds. He never supported Boni Haruna because Boni was Fulani. He never supported Boni because Boni was a Muslim. For Atiku Abubakar, I am Frank Shaibu, I'm a Christian. There's Paul Ibe, who is a Christian. Atiku's personal physician of over 20-something years is a Christian. We have ordered so many aides. As far as Atiku is concerned, religion does not even matter to him. In fact, his chief steward is a Christian. And sometimes you come to the Waziri's house in the morning, he will tell you, look, until they come back from church, there's no breakfast in my house. Let me
jump in and ask
yes,
you.
Please do. Go ahead.
This question is critical.
Go ahead.
Mr. Babachir Lawal
yes.
has alleged that the ADC presidential primary was manipulated in favor of Atiku Abubakar, and he had claimed that certain interests predetermined the outcome. Not only Babachir Lawal had alleged that that primary was fraudulent, Amechi said so. Ayatollah said so. These are the closest to the race than even Babachir Lawal. Has Atiku Abubakar accepted that there were irregularities and there are fraudulent manipulation of that process?
You see, these are questions that should be put straight even to the party that conducted the primaries. But first off, let me take you through a journey. In a race that has an Atiku Abubakar, Rotimi Amechi, two-time governor, two-time Speaker of the House of Assembly, of the State House of Assembly in Rivers, as well as two-time Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and Malam Hayatuddin, or Alhaji Hayatuddin, as I don't know his specific title. You would agree with me, of these three names, when you place them on a scale of rectitude, for a direct primary election that is dependent on structure, who ordinarily do you think would emerge the victor? In this case, I will take you back to Babachir.
So you say that Atiku, by popularity and political structure,
by popularity,
will naturally defeat Amechi and Ayatollah.
Will naturally defeat them, and that was why the likes of Peter Obi ran away from the party, because they know that there was no pathway for
them. They didn't stand a chance.
Of course, you see, anybody who claims rigging or irregularity in the last election, check the places and the locations they won. Where are the states that Rotimi Amechi won? If you check the figures, the margin he got there, you will know that, look, these are his strongholds.
Well, is Atiku worried about how he emerged? Because if you are saying that the party conducted it, it is not Atiku's problem.
That is one.
But is Atiku proud that he has emerged through a fraudulent means?
It was not a fraudulent process.
Amechi said it wasn't fair.
It is not the number.
Ayatollah said it was not fair.
You see, this
Babachir Lawal from the same state.
No. Hold on. Babachir, you see, when we are discussing this, I don't want institution where you mention Babachir.
Because you are responding tonight?
Yeah, if I'm responding to Babachir, that is why I told you that it's just, Babachir reminds me of a man or of a baby who is yanked off her mother's breast while sucking. It's like a deprived suckling. Definitely the baby will throw tantrums. He admitted on your show here that his preferred candidate was Hayatuddin. He worked for him. Let me shock you. All the coordinators and electoral officers from the Northeast, the party allowed Babachir Lawal to appoint them. It will interest you to know that I am a Christian. I don't believe in, in fact, I'm a lover of God, and when it matters that relate to the body of Christ, I tread with profound meticulousness. But I'll tell you that it will interest you to know that all the electoral officers he appointed in that zone were all Christians. The party, despite the fact that some leaders within the party in Adamawa protested and in some other parts of the Northeast protested, the party allowed him to have his way. But when he tried to drive them to deliver his candidate at all costs, they told him that they must follow the rules of the game, and the election held. Of course, you should know that a man who takes something to deliver something since you said I should not mention money now, but I will mention a man who took money to deliver a particular candidate and could not deliver. You know that there must be accountability.
Evidence to prove that he took money.
No, but Babachir was here for over an hour. He was before you for over an hour. He leveled all forms of accusations.
No, but I'm saying, if you are, and he said, I
am telling you for free, I am telling you for free that Babachir knows the onus of proof is on him. It's on him. He said, and he told you to your face that if he wanted money, he will ask President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So it goes to show who he Babachir is working for.
Yeah,
so we know his role.
Yeah.
We knew the role he played in 2023 election, where he played the religious card, moved from churches to churches with Peter Obi. This time round, because Peter had dumped him and they have discovered who he is, he has decided now to play what we call the tribal and ethnic cards. It will not work. Nigerians are hungry. The Nigerians are hungry, and hunger does not understand language or geography. Sheung, the man who is hungry in Adamawa is the same as the man who is hungry in Kogi State. The Muslim Fulani who is hungry in Zamfara is the same as a Christian who is hungry in Benue. Insecurity does not understand tribe. It does not understand religion, and it does not understand any ethnic group. So the issue is, it's beyond.
Let me quickly jump in here. Right?
Jump in.
Babachir Lawal had left the ADC, and he says, look, for whatever it's worth, anybody who goes and votes for Atiku is making a big mistake, because Atiku Abubakar will do worse. According to him, he thinks that President Tinubu is doing a bad job at running the affairs of this country, that in fact Atiku will do a worse job. And he has laid claims that we're calling him Kachala and calling him all those names. He said that Atiku has allegedly not shown sufficient public empathy for communities devastated by banditry, terrorism, and mass kidnappings and killings, beyond issuing rhetorical statements. And he says that Atiku is inept. Atiku is going to be a tragedy of the president to Nigeria. What is Atiku's thought about this?
Sheung, my first reaction is that a bitter heart is not capable of charity. A bitter heart is not capable of
Beyond
charity.
saying that.
Beyond saying that.
Is Atiku
hold on.
Does he have the capacity?
Sheung, please hold on. He does not just have the capacity. He is far above board, better equipped than Babachir. Intellectually, physically, Atiku is better equipped than Babachir Lawal, let alone Bola Tinubu. Now, let me tell you something. You say that beyond the rhetorics of issuing press statements, you have forgotten. It's in the media. It's in the media space. After the Chibok girls escaped from captivity in 2014, Sheung, you have forgotten so soon that I was shocked that no media practitioner has been able to challenge Babachir to it. That this same Atiku Abubakar admitted, rehabilitated some of the kids who escaped captivity after being kidnapped in the Chibok case. Over 57 of them were admitted, enrolled in a school, and went through the university after passing through a preparatory program. Some of them have since graduated. Atiku did not, it didn't matter. He didn't just give them scholarship. It didn't matter to him whether some of them were Christians or Muslims. It didn't matter to him whether they were Fulani or whether they were Igala. It didn't matter to him whether they were from the minority tribe where Babachir comes from or whether they were Fulanis. Yet, for me, empathy does not speak any other language apart from a man who decided not just to admit or receive those who escaped captivity or those that were released from captivity by their abductors. But he decided to not just rehabilitate them, but gave them life. Today, as at 11th of May this year, some of these young people graduated from the American University of Nigeria.
What Babachir Lawal was saying,
now,
Atiku is not bold enough to condemn.
I do not understand.
Those who will say some of them are ethnic killers, criminals.
I don't know.
From an ethnic stock.
Hold on, sir.
And he's not,
hold on,
that
sir.
is the
hold on, Sheung. Babachir was secretary.
You remember the history of a deleted tweet of your principal.
Hold on.
And these are issues that he has brought to the
Hold on, Sheung. Let me say something here. Babachir was secretary to the government of the Federation under President Muhammadu Buhari. A lot of kidnapping, a lot of abduction went on in that government. Atiku Abubakar is not a soldier. He doesn't have a gun. He does not have a machine gun.
Does that mean that he cannot condemn those who seemingly he alleged that he has sympathy for?
The records are there. I even saw you on national TV, on this same station, reading out multiple and quoting out multiple statements that we issued, condemning those acts and asking governments, not just condemning, but asking government to do the right thing by arresting and prosecuting them and letting them know that the idea of rehabilitating all these abductors or Boko Haram members or whatever they call themselves was not the pathway.
Sorry, Mr.
The pathway to this, the pathway to this, Atiku has always advocated is simple.
This Afro man in my ear is telling me we need to go, but I don't want to release you until you tell me what Babachir Lawal said. He said that Atiku cannot beat Bola Tinubu. If Atiku imagines that Bola Tinubu is going to beat him silly.
Now, I'll tell you, this is our last word on Babachir Lawal. You will not get, Babachir will not be entitled to any response from us as a team. For Bola Ahmed Tinubu, according to Babachir Lawal, he will not just be beaten, Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be beaten by the Nigerian people. The Nigerian people who are hungry, the Nigerian people whose tears are almost filling GP tanks because their people have been abducted and they're still in the bush. The Nigerian people, particularly the people of Oyo, the people of Borno, the people of Kogi, people of Kwara, people of Akwa Ibom, people of Benue, whose siblings, whose relations have been kidnapped, their blood is waiting. And they are waiting to vote him out of power. It's not just about Atiku. We have a bigger project. We have an assignment. Atiku has an assignment from the Nigerian people. So Atiku will not just beat Bola Tinubu. It is the people of Nigeria who will throw Bola Tinubu out of Aso Rock in 2027.
Frank Shaibu is the Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Many thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you indeed. That's our show for tonight. Many thanks everyone for watching. I'm Sean Wakemale. God bless Nigeria.